to get a free ride back to the country. And then they used to move around other institutions and giving faculty seminars and so on and so forth. So the next 4 or 5 years was one of the very active days when all these institutions hired in large numbers. Then, as it is expected, the hiring became much less, and around the same time, the Ramalinga Swami and the Ramanujan fellowships, the re-entry fellowships. We have reached a stage after 10, 12 years now that most of these institutions are saturated. And what we have is a small trickle of new faculty getting into the national laboratories and IITs and ISERs and universities, central universities. But there will be a small turnover of requirement. But this is one of the reasons why YIM, the annual event, is not as aggressive and as investigators who have come back to the country for networking. So it used to be a young investigators meeting followed by a postdoc meeting, and the postdoc component is a little slowed down. We don't get that many every year into the country for looking for placements. But then the regional young investigators meeting of this kind has actually started serving a slightly different purpose, like what the talk that we had with from Professor Mishra, where all other employment opportunities, not just these select 4 or 5 that I talked about, but others. So this has actually been galvanizing itself over the last 4 or 5 years, and there is no limit to the number of times it can be held because it's one-off meeting done in a certain region by certain institutions. And this is one of the things that India Bioscience has been nurturing, and it is picking up only now. It's about 5, 6 years since the regional YIMs started. So this about the background, but the day after tomorrow, I think there are people coming from the young investigators meeting from the India Bioscience. You will have a chance to talk to them much more. I'll run through in the next 25 minutes something on grantsmanship. This is targeted primarily to young investigators, new faculty, and also postdocs. It's a good idea that you learn the art of generating grants. It's one of the biggest challenges for all of us. It continues to haunt us, regardless of what stage of your research career is. It's an enterprise that all of us are busy, regardless of your age. I wrote my last grant about 6 months ago, and I'm only 72, so it's okay. So we will end up doing this for a long, long time. As long as you can run a lab, you will end up doing this because that's the only way that you run a lab. I'm not particularly fond of quantifying to youngsters, but then this is a particular topic where I need to quantify, say do's and don'ts. Um, but that's the nature of the topic. And so, pardon me if I'm saying do this, do that, don't do this, all of that. But that's the way it will be. So, a couple of disclaimers. Doing research, generating grants, communicating your observations are all more an art than and different from each other. It's not simple, straightforward, didactic. You train yourself in masters and PhD and do a postdoc, and then you're all set to write a grant. That's not the way it works. And like all other art or any other art, it can only be taught up to a point, and beyond that, it's for you to figure it out. Just as people say, you cannot become rich by reading books on how to get rich, because all those people who made money became rich never wrote those books, and those who wrote such books had never actually very rich. So this is something you need to